Hi, today I'm going to share with you some of my friends that help me every day take care of my trash. So, I don't know about you, but our family makes a lot of trash. Like just this morning I was finishing my pear and my coffee grounds were here. I had made a salad and this carrot looked kind of yucky, and then these were some wilty leaves that I had that sometimes people just throw them away. If you're lucky, you live somewhere out in the woods where you can just throw it out in the woods and let it decay, or maybe you compost and may have a compost bed in your backyard. But I have a way that I can get rid of this. I have some little friends, some little pets that I keep that help me turn this into garden gold. So let me show you my pets right now. I have this box right here. And inside of it, I have thousands and thousands of earthworms. And these earthworms live inside my house, and they help me take care of my compost trash, like things that I can get rid of in the house. So I'm going to show you inside here. Right here. Let me open this box. Sometimes you'll find one sitting on the lid. I don't know if he's trying to escape or not, but sometimes I find him there. I'm going to take you inside this box here, and I want you to look inside. And right now you may not see a whole lot, just newspaper, and that's because earthworms don't like light. And I have this damp newspaper in here to help me keep those worms nice and cool. So I'm going to dig in here, and this might creep some of you out. I'm going to dig down. Oh, let me dig deep here. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, can you see that? That's right, I am touching this. Can you see that okay? There's some of my earthworms. Look, there's even a little baby there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a couple in there. And what they're doing is they are, oh, there was a big one. Did you see that? It takes a while to get used to touching them. But they are working for me right now. They are actually eating all of my garbage. So what I like to do, let me get my hands cleaned up. I will definitely wash these later for 20 seconds, but right now I'm not too worried about it because earthworm castings, they're not going to hurt me too bad. And so what I like to do, let me cover these guys up, is chop up all of my scraps from my kitchen. I'll chop it up really small, and believe it or not, you know that dryer lint that you get out of your dryer, or old thread, or little old pieces of cotton fabric? I just like to cut it up or tear it up into little shreds, and I'll throw that in there too. Sorry, that's dryer lint. And I'll put that inside my box to feed my worms. So all you have to do is get a box like this, drill holes in the side like I've done. Oh, see there, I put holes in the side, not down here, but above the dirt line. I also drilled holes on the bottom because they need air. They are a living creature. I put a little bit of soil in the bottom of the box, and then I shred up newspaper and different scraps. In fact, look what I have here. I just saved old bags from the store, and some of you might remember me coming by your classroom asking you for your old newspaper scraps. And believe it or not, sometimes I just sit around when I'm bored and tear my newspaper into shreds. It's kind of therapeutic. It's pretty fun. And then I dampen that, and I save that to put in my earthworm box. So you put down a layer of dirt or potting soil, and then you put your shredded newspaper on top, and then your bed is ready for worms. And so you can either buy your worms online, which I don't suggest. I think you could go out in your yard and just start digging some up, and start with a handful of red wrigglers or little earthworms that you find. And usually the red wrigglers are the best. So you might be able to even buy a little thing like this at the fishing store. And I actually saved this from takeout food, and I saved it thinking that maybe I might rob a couple of my worms to take my grandkids fishing, but I haven't had the heart to do that yet. So I'm still saving it for the day that I'll use my worms for fishing. Anyway, and so then you add your worms to your bed, and you feed them about every 3 or 4 days, just chopped up stuff. You can look online and see what they like. I have this old piece of paper that I got when I bought my worms that tells me what worms like and what they don't like, and you can see it's kind of gotten old and ratty, but I still use it. And it tells you, like, don't feed them onions, don't feed them meat, don't feed them bones. And so I just use my kitchen scraps, like chopped up potatoes or potato peels or apple cores. When you peel your carrot, anything that you would maybe normally throw in the trash or in your compost bed, you can actually throw in your earthworm box. Every 3 or 4 days, I just scoot the newspaper aside. I check on my worms. You can fill your soil to see if it's moist enough. And so rule of thumb, or at least I heard this from somebody one time, is that if you squeeze it, it should squeeze like a chocolate muffin. And if it has like too much liquid in there, then it'll kind of drip, and that's too much. And if it crumbles apart like a dry old muffin, that's not good, then it's too dry. And so if it's too dry, you just get an old bottle that you can recycle. And I wash this out really good. It used to be Windex, and I label it because I used to not label my bottle, but one time my husband fed my little plants, squirting it with a bottle of liquid, and it was floor cleaner, and I had to throw all those away. So now I label it, and I actually will get just city tap water and sit it out on the counter like this after I fill it up, and let the chlorine evaporate out, so that way I'm not putting chlorine in with my worms or even on my little plants. So I just take that and I'll just spritz that soil and spritz the newspaper and check on them about every 3 or 4 days. And after about 10 weeks, these worms will multiply and they'll fill up their space, and you can even find little babies, and if you look really closely, you can even see a little egg. So they are reproducing in there, and basically you're doubling that population over about 10 weeks time, and maybe even more. I don't know the scientifics, but I know I always have more worms. And then you harvest those castings. And so what that worm is really doing in there is he's eating all of that garbage, and then it goes through him and it comes out as a casting, maybe like worm poop. But those castings is that black kind of sticky looking stuff in there, and it's kind of on the side of my box, on the sides where they're crawling around in there. And so I'll just scrape it off the top and shine a light in there, and then the worms will dig lower, and I'll scrape some more off the top, and I'll just completely clean out those castings every 10 weeks, and I put them in my potted plants, I put them in my garden around my plants, and I put them around my bushes, and it's considered to be like garden gold. It doesn't have any pesticides in it. Well, maybe some residuals on something that you maybe bought and chopped up and put in there, but mostly it's like a very organic way to fertilize your plants. And I just happen to enjoy nature, and I like these little worms, and I just like the fact that I'm not exposing my family to chemicals or a store-bought fertilizer if I can help it. But this just gives me free fertilizer every 10 weeks, and my plants are doing really well, and I feel like that the worm compost or the worm castings help. And so these worms, this is the bucket right here. Well, I'm gonna leave him outside for a minute. I don't really wanna leave them outside. I wanna show you where my worms live, because I'm worried in Texas, some nights are too cold, or maybe some days are too hot, I don't know. So I keep them here in my kitchen. So I'm gonna, hold on, don't look at my kitchen, it's a mess. Whoop. Okay, we're back. So I actually keep them, this is my utility room, and I have one of these little metal shelves, and here's another box that I have. So here's a box, and then I have 2 more spaces for worms. And basically you can just keep one box, and then whenever you take your castings out, you can put those castings out along with some of the worms if you want to just keep one box, or you can keep dividing the worms that are left up and make another box. And so you can keep doubling the amount of boxes you have if you have that much space. But 1 box or 2 boxes is really enough to kind of fertilize plants around a normal size house or a normal size garden. So there you have it. There's a great way to be very environmentally friendly, and it's just a great way to just make our earth happy and eat healthy and take care of yourself. So I hope you have a great day.